Hello,
Hello.
welcome. We're here. Prag's making a funny face that
Mhm.
no one
Welcome. Happy
watching,
New Year.
no one listening to the audio will be able to see that. But
It's a
Yeah.
fun
I
face.
love it. I love it. We're
Thank
here.
you.
Welcome to
Mhm.
Three Grandmas Podcast once again. I'm here with my good friends, Timegoestowaste
That's right.
and Pragpro. We have an interesting movie this week.
Hmm.
Rushmore is a 1998 American comedy film directed by Wes Anderson about a teenager named Max Fisher, played by Jason Schwartzman in his film debut, and his friendship with rich industrialist Herman Bloom, played by Bill Murray, and their shared affection for an elementary school teacher, Rosemary Cross, played by Olivia Williams. It was co-written by Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson,
Mhm.
which is very interesting. I didn't realize that Owen Wilson was a big screenwriter guy. He's written quite a few, actually, specifically films that
Did he
did
help on
with.
Bottle Rocket?
He
Because I
did
know that
help
was
on
his
Bottle
first
Rocket,
movie.
and he
And then
also
all of the Wilson brothers are in that too,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah,
Andrew Wilson is in this one too.
yeah. I haven't
Yes.
He
seen.
plays.
If you
I
close your eyes when Andrew's talking, he sounds just like Owen.
It's just like Owen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottle Rocket. I've seen the short of Bottle Rocket before it
Mhm.
became a movie. I haven't actually seen the movie, but I've seen the short version of it.
That's a good one.
And he also wrote the Royal Tenenbaums, which is one of my favorites from Wes Anderson. And this is an interesting movie because I mean it's his second film after Bottle Rocket.
His second film.
Who's echoing?
Just keep going.
It's not echoing. It was just a second, JC. Relax.
Who did
The
it?
iPad is auto on, and I was just monitoring the stream, and then I quickly turned it down. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, so this is Wes Anderson's second film, and this is before he's like it almost feels like it feels weird that this is a Wes Anderson film because you see his later stuff and they're so elaborate and so pastel colored, and his camera movements are so like precise, and not just precise but also like very specific. Like he basically won't let the camera be in between 90 degrees at any point. Like basically it's 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. And it's always lateral movements. It's always forward or lateral. It's never moving diagonally or anything like that. And this movie breaks a lot of those conventions that he has established for himself over his career. It's like shot like a traditional. I mean, there's obviously a lot of color coordination that he loves to do, but
things like the letterhead for the business, the industrial, like every brand or thing that he's featuring, he makes the stationery. He does like he prints it up. Like, and you can tell that it's all handcrafted. Like, there's still a lot of handcrafted elements.
Especially like the final act, which is basically becomes a Wes Anderson film on stage, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's very interesting that to see like the early filmmaking sort of prowess of Wes Anderson and how he kind of started off making a more traditional comedy and then moving into a lot more elaborate filmmaking techniques that he didn't have at his disposal. The disposables sort of previously. Pragpro, why did you pick Rushmore? What drew you to this film for this week?
I remember seeing this movie when it came out, probably on like DVD, like early in Netflix days, like when they just started actually mailing things out locally, because I was, living in San Jose, and that's where they started up. And I was just blown away that it was just so funny. Everyone knew who Bill Murray was, but everyone else was pretty much under discovered, maybe little discovery. And it was just a hilarious plot that this kid is so brilliant, but he's so bored by the academic lifestyle at this school that he's just doing all of these after school projects, and he's just like excelling at every single one, and he's doing these magnificent stage plays. And I just love Jason Schwartzman's performance. It's almost like an extension of Ferris Bueller in some ways, right?
Yeah, I see
But
that.
you can also see him dealing with his ego through the process of him. Like, he knows that he's very creative. He knows he's a genius, but then it gets him into a lot of hot water, right, at school. And then, you know, he keeps escalating. But it's interesting at the end of this movie, they kind of resolve some of those issues and they kind of make it a little tidy. And I love Bill Murray in this too. I think Bill Murray's hilarious in this with the sons that he has. That one scene when he's talking about the party, he's like, "Why don't you invite Max to the party?" And he's like, blah, blah. And then he does one of these. That's just a hilarious. His timing is impeccable.
He's like, "Why don't you pull your hand out of your ass, Dad?" And then it's just like a pause.
There's the pause. And then he just like he goes so fast, right? Because he's like, he wants to like sneak up on him. It's just perfect technique.
My favorite part, my favorite line in the movie is when he's watching his two kids wrestle on the ground, and he's just like, "How did my two sons end up like this?" I was dying.
Right?
It was so good.
And so this movie's inspired by Ronald Dahl, which is a children's book writer.
You mean
Roald Dahl? What did I say? Ronald? Okay, Roald Dahl.
You did say Ronald, yes. Roald Dahl, yeah.
Roald.
He's trying to create a heightened sense of reality, like a children's book, in like a lot of his movies, right? Because if you look, it's like almost like a diorama effect, and I think he starts playing with that concept in this movie, like because Bottle Rocket is just a straight up rom-com almost.
It's like a heist movie, sort of. I mean, at least the short was. I don't know what the actual movie's like.
Right. It's not as bespoke as this, and as he goes along, it gets so much more intricate as far as the details, and that's what makes a Wes Anderson movie. I mean, always the scripts are hilarious, and he knows how to my favorite is Hotel Budapest, and I just love the sense of humor, but I love the attention to detail, like on The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. You have the whole ship with the side view. You know, and the schematic, and it's just the little details, just create the world building is amazing.
And speaking of Steve Zissou, they kind of he kind of what is it called when you when
kind of like hinted at it, kind of sort of
premonitions.
Yeah,
foreshadowing.
When you hint at like
the foreshadowing
stuff, because he had the book, which is Jack's is it. No, not Jacques Clouseau. You know what I'm talking about. Jacques
Clouseau, right? Yeah.
Is it Jacques Clouseau? Yeah.
Jacques Coucou. It's Jacques. It's pronounced Jacques.
Can we not speak English?
It's not English. It's French. Jacques Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau. Jacques Cousteau. Yeah, I do.
The ship captain that Steve Zissou is based on. The real guy. The book that he wrote is basically what starts his romantic affection for this teacher,
who is a beautiful actor, and she's great in this though. She's
Olivia
just really,
Williams.
Classically trained British actor. You know, did a lot of like theater stuff. They did a casting call for the younger actors in this, and I think most of the actors, like a full 5,000 people auditioned for the role that Jason Schwartzman got or something.
Ended up getting. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then so they found who his little understudy would be through that casting call too.
As in what's his name? Dirk Calloway.
What's that kid's Dirk
Calloway?
Dirk Calloway, and then the younger kid that follows Max around all the time, the blonde kid that he ends up lying about he hooked up with his mother, and there's that whole subgenre.
That was Dirk.
That's Dirk, right? But who's the Scottish kid? Oh, that's Angus, right?
Yes, or Magnus Buchanan.
Magnus. Okay.
Buchanan, yeah.
Yes.
And Brian Cox is in this he's also hilarious in this role as the principal. He's just like he has some affection for this kid, but is just frustrated by him because he doesn't do what he needs to do, and he's always causing trouble. And just the lengths that this kid will go to for whatever he is interested in or whatever he wants to gain. is just hilarious to me. I love it. I love this character. See, the first time I actually saw Rushmore, I reckon I would have been like 12, and I feel like it would. I don't know. At the time, I was watching like Screen Junkies or something. I don't know if anyone remembers the Screen Junkies YouTube channel. They used to make all the Honest trailers.
Oh yeah.
I think they still do make Honest trailers.
Still do,
yeah, they're not good anymore. But I used to watch all of their behind the scenes stuff, where they were talking about movies and stuff. Before they got into a lot of hot water and kind of just like died down. But I remember, I feel like I remember one of them recommended Rushmore, saying it was one of the funniest movies. And this was before I even knew who Wes Anderson was. I think I saw Rushmore when I was like 13 or 12. And I didn't like it at the time. I feel like I was young and I watched it with my family and all of us just didn't get it. Like we didn't get the vibe. We didn't get like what this like I feel like because the humor in this movie is just so dry and just
very
so
American.
Yeah, and I just didn't get it the first time I saw it. And
just
this
went
time,
over your head.
Just went straight over my head. I was like, wow, this is boring. I don't understand what these characters are doing. This is just, and it just felt so one note. But watching it this time, I loved it. I loved everything about it. I don't know what I was on the first, this stupid little 12-year-old who didn't understand anything. Loved.
Do you want another fun fact real quick? Jason
that?
Schwartzman is Coppola's nephew.
Yeah,
Yes.
I read that today. That's crazy.
And Sofia Coppola's cousin, which is interesting.
And he's related to, and somehow through all that, he's related to Nicolas Cage as well. I believe he's like his
Really?
uncle. Yeah, Nicolas Cage is a Coppola as well. It's a big.
That's
it's a big
right.
family,
You're right.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
That's crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a big family. But yeah, I love Jason Schwartzman in this. I've loved him in basically everything he's been in. Scott Pilgrim.
He was 15 in this, right?
They cast the age. It's
amazing.
And now he's just one of those actors that you see in any film, and he always crushes it every single time.
Guaranteed to be in all of his films now, right?
Wes Anderson's films, yeah, he just gets a lock for Wes Anderson. Yeah, he's fantastic in this. And I think Bill Murray's character. I don't know. I keep saying I think, but I feel like this is his best performance. I've seen so many Bill Murray movies. He's fantastic in. Yeah, I think ever.
Oh, wow.
Just how heartbroken he is in this movie and just like how lonely he is. I like every scene where there's just a close-up of Bill Murray's face. He's just so broken as a person in this. And it's heartbreaking to me. I've never felt this like I've never felt this kind of, kinship for a Bill Murray character like this one. I felt so sorry for this guy in this movie. He just like had so much longing. Clearly, like his life didn't go the way he wanted. His sons are complete assholes. He obviously isn't happy in his marriage and finds, I'm saying kinship again, but he finds kinship in this kid that obviously has a lot going for him. He has a lot of prospects, and
it's like he saw himself in the kid, and then he noticed that the kid had a crush on the teacher, and so then he had a crush on the teacher because he's like, now I can, because he could see how much more talented maybe Max is than he is, and how much like he could be a genius superstar. And even though Bill Murray's character is very highly skilled and intelligent, maybe there's a little pang of jealousy just because of talent.
I don't think it's jealousy. I think it's more like he regrets his own decisions and sees what he could have done with his life through this kid.
Right.
Like, I feel like he, for himself, even though he's a millionaire, like he owns what does he own? Is it like a steel?
Some industrial company.
It doesn't matter. He has money.
Steel, something like that. Yeah. He probably inherited.
Yeah, right? But he's not proud of himself. He's not proud of his own life. And I feel like he sees like the potential that he squandered in Max Fisher.
Max. And then it's like in one like Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is probably my number 2 Wes film.
That's
they
my number
resolve that kind of tension in a different way, where the
2.
where the guy goes out on an adventure and tries to reclaim his creativity and his control of life. And this way, in this movie, the industrialist is kind of like living through the kid a little bit and just like picking up his scraps almost in some ways.
Yeah, he becomes his cool guy, the guy that like he even like talks to the wife about, like, he sends him to deliver a message to the wife, and the
Right,
wife's
they have
like,
a little bit of rivalry, right? When they go back
yeah,
and forth with the beehive in the hotel room, which is
That was so
funny.
funny.
yeah. There's a
Right,
whole
when he's walking
sequence.
down the stairs and he's like, and then when he leaves his gum on the wall, like,
Yeah,
is like a little calling card, right? Because no
yeah.
one will see it and no one will know, but he's just like, yeah, I was here. Hilarious.
So I want to know, Time, what's your like relationship with Wes Anderson? Have you seen any of his films before this?
Well, we dated for 13 years off and on.
Okay.
Yeah, what is
Okay,
your
yeah.
relationship?
What's your relationship to Wes Anderson?
We never kissed on the mouth. We just held hands.
Maybe this year.
Why
Yeah,
not?
maybe
He's
this
a
year.
handsome man. Like,
He's
why
a pretty
wouldn't
handsome
you?
man.
Yeah. But yeah,
He only wanted to look at me at
I
90
don't want to
degrees.
know. I don't. I don't want to know your personal, detail. I meant to his films.
His films.
Yes,
His filmography.
His
Okay.
filmography. What's your relationship to Wes Anderson?
I don't know what the first Wes Anderson movies I saw, but I genuinely like them. My favorite is Isle of Dogs. I think it's my favorite
Oh
one.
my god, yes, it's so good.
It's a banger.
Like that one and Fantastic Mr. Fox are like neck and neck for me. My favorite is The French Dispatch, but like number 2 is one of those two. Yeah.
The Grand Budapest Hotel, I like that one a lot too.
It's very funny.
Steve Zissou, I love that one. It's a good one.
Haven't seen it yet.
It's a great one.
The Marrakesh Express. Have you seen that one?
You mean the Darjeeling Limited?
The Darjeeling Express. Why did I say Marrakesh? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Marrakesh.
And it's the Darjeeling Limited, Prag. Get it right.
Marrakesh Express is the sequel to the Darjeeling Limited. It's coming out. It's going to be fantastic.
Are we going to
I'm
make
going to make it on Twitch. I'd love to make it on Twitch. I would love to make a Wes Anderson style film. That would be amazing.
You know, there was a scene where I think it's at the very end when Max is talking to Margaret and they're dancing. I think they're dancing, and he goes, "How's your Australian accent? I want to pick you for my next movie." And it just immediately made me think of Prague.
Yeah,
because like, gotta make the next thing. Gotta make the next thing.
Gotta make the next thing. Gotta make the next thing.
Just constantly thinking.
He's trying to do it a bit ahead. He's not just doing a play. He's doing he's doing the hardest type of play ever, like a Vietnam era play, so right? Funny. With all the guns.
Dynamite for it.
Yeah, he's like, there's protective safety equipment underneath your chairs. You know,
I forgot about the dynamite. That still started going off, and I go, "Oh, that's what it was for."
And seeing this movie, like in my teens, it still inspires me to try to go big like that and try to be someone like that and try to like. People are sitting around waiting to do something, and you should have to be the person to get things started sometimes, and you can't just wait for everyone to help start it. You know.
Do you see this? Go on. Sorry for time.
Real quick. I saw this movie like 10 years ago for like the first time, and I didn't really care for it. I was like, "This is I don't know." Maybe it was early Wes Anderson. I just didn't feel like it was his movie.
You had the same reaction. Yeah. 12-year-old me had.
Except I was 20 in my mid 20s. I just didn't like it. But I love Jason Schwartzman. His role as Gideon Graves is probably my favorite role
he's so good
he's ever done.
Movie.
And I love that. And yeah, I watching it now, it clicked. I thought it was funny. I loved it. I understood it more. It meant more to me. The whole relationship dynamic, all the stuff they were doing. I really liked it. I think on the whole, I pretty much like all of Wes Anderson movies.
Yeah. Even I think his most recent one's probably my least favorite, but Asteroid City. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. It's on my to-do list.
It's good. It's good. It's very I feel like it's a multiple watch sort of one.
Okay.
I've only seen it once.
Doesn't he have a new set of shorts on Netflix? Yeah. It's like is that considered this most recent?
Yeah, they're Roald Dahl shorts that he did on Netflix. And
I have to see those.
I've seen a couple of them. The main one, Henry Sugar, I saw that, and another one called Poison, where Benedict Cumberbatch is basically lying on a bed and he has a venomous snake on top of him, and they're trying to make sure the snake doesn't bite him and kill him.
Okay.
And he basically just has to sit there like still, and what's his name, Dev Patel, is like narrating the whole story and how he got him out of the situation. It's really good, just
Okay.
really well set up, and it's all based on Roald Dahl shorts.
Mm.
Clearly Wes Anderson is a humongous Roald Dahl fan.
Right, and Roald Dahl made Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. If people
That's
don't know,
right.
James and the Giant Peach, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I would love to see a Wes Anderson Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That'd be so
crazy.
good.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Like we got the original. It was not Mel Brooks. It's a different Brooks.
No Brooks
Made the original.
But he's one with Gene Hackman.
Yes,
Gene
But
Wilder.
not Gene Hackman. Gene Wilder. Jesus Christ, what is going on today with us?
Which
The
is
fucking Marrakesh Express to fucking Nowhere Town is where we're going.
which is unironically like a satirical masterpiece. I love that movie.
Well, the original.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah, the original is fantastic. Yeah, I love that movie.
So good. It's
That's the best one.
Yeah, 100%.
Satirical clip show, and then it just becomes like a whimsical, beautiful Roald Dahl
Gene
story.
Wilder.
Incredible. And then Tim Burton's one is
psychedelic.
weird. Tim Burton's one has good elements, but it's just I feel
it's a copy of a better original. I feel like. I mean, it's the same type of style and stuff, but he didn't make a new style like the Gene Wilder one with a fresh style.
Visually, it's very dazzling. That I feel like what sinks that movie is the central performance by Johnny Depp. I feel like just doesn't work.
He's playing Michael Jackson during the whole movie, and it's off-putting.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah,
which I understand the choice, and I understand because he's a recluse and he's in the world of imagination, and that does make sense. But it's just kind of like fourth wall breaking to bring in a real character as the impression that you're doing. You know, it's like you have to make a new thing, not like just do.
Yeah,
but you know how I feel. I'm not a big Jack Sparrow guy, but we don't want to get into that.
I'm a huge Jack Sparrow guy, but
we love
what
Jack
I wanted
Sparrow
to
here.
yeah, but he never people asked him if he based it on Michael Jackson, and he said no. He said no. I didn't.
Just like OK Computer wasn't based on Pink Floyd albums, right? It's like, of course they say that.
Look, I'm an In Rainbows guy, so like
Rainbows fantastic.
That's a great beautiful album. I love that they gave that away for free. They knew how good it was, so they gave it as a free download, and you could buy the CD later.
That's right.
But that was amazing.
You can throw all the criticism at OK Computer you want, but In Rainbows,
I love OK Computer.
OK Computer's good.
I love all of their albums.
It's not as good as Kid A. It's not as good as Kid A, and it's not as good as In Rainbows, but it's pretty good.
It's a different type of album than Kid A, though, right?
Yeah, it's a different kind of album.
It's a concept album. It's like a traditional 70s progressive rock album with structure and narrative, and then Kid A is like a krautrock album, experimental. You know, like Almond Duel 2 or
I think the issue with OK Computer is that it's like, as a whole, it's a beautiful album, but it doesn't have my favorite songs of all time in it. Like Kid A has Idiotech, which is one of my favorite songs ever made.
What about Let Down and Climbing Up the Walls or B-side bangers? I mean, they really create a sense of texture and place, and the themes of the album are carried through the isolation and kind of like On the Wall. It's the same type of themes.
Karma Police, really good.
I hate that's the one I don't like because they played it too much. Because
Paranoid
they beat
Android,
you to death. That year they played that song all the 24/7. Just beat you together. Paranoid Android is banger.
But listen, in Rainbows has Reckoner, which is an absolute classic. It's just incredible.
The best way to experience In Rainbows is from the Basement concert that they did a live recording of the whole show, of the whole album straight through. So that's a great way to experience In Rainbows.
Yeah, and The King of Limbs is like one of their worst albums, but apparently the live version of The King of Limbs is like incredible. It's like a completely different album, and
because they used two drummers on the whole thing,
and it's what should have been released in the first place. But yeah. Back, I don't know.
Welcome to the Radiohead broadcast of
I love these tangents we do.
Welcome to the Radiohead head.
The Radiohead head. We should do an album review of like either In Rainbows or what's their
new
most
one is
recent?
amazing.
The new one.
Mahmood Shaypool.
The new one is 10 years old now, 11 years old. But it's
That's new for them.
Most recent.
It's like Tool. Tool and Radiohead are the only bands that can get away with releasing an album every fucking 11 years.
True.
But The Smile is really good, which is Johnny and Tom and a different drummer.
Yeah.
You could say those are kind of like Radiohead songs because they're not too far off. I mean, it's really good stuff.
What's their latest album called? Like Wall of Eyes or something? Is that what it was called?
Wall of Eyes. And the first one was The Smile, and then The Smoke is the single that's really good off the first one.
And also Tom York's like his solo stuff, like his Suspiria soundtrack, and also Anima, like that visual album is incredible. So if you ever get a chance,
and there's like Harrow Hill that he made. That's like his first solo. He loves Aphex Twin, and you can hear a lot of Aphex Twin and that label Astral Works that Aphex was on when he started. You can really, he talks about. Like he's really into it, and also Atoms for Peace is great too.
Yeah.
Flea,
Amok, yeah. Did you notice? Did you notice that you said Aphex Twin completely different every single time you said it just then?
Did he?
Because I don't know the way to say it, so I say it different way 3 times, and I'll get it right once
every time.
Yeah. He said Afix, and then you said Aphex, and then you said Affix, and I was like, every single time you said it differently.
Yeah, because I'm like David Bowie. I'm constantly evolving
with the apex.
Because I started to think about it while I was saying it. I'm like, maybe that's how he wants it to go down, like Aphex or Affix or
whichever one it is.
Affix.
We should have him on the show.
We should have Aphex Twin on the show. No,
we should.
But we should have David Bowie on the show.
We should.
I would love to have David Bowie on the show. David, call me if you're not doing anything. If you're not busy, I haven't heard from you in a minute.
If he's
Black Star.
I mean, if you haven't heard Black Star, that album is harrowing. Anyway.
So the themes of Rushmore, Anderson confirmed that the protagonist Max is a semi-autobiographical version of himself, which I really could see that he's like tell the way he was as a kid, and he probably was doing the most at the high school productions.
He probably wasn't. It probably wasn't an academic darling,
right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at that like Vietnam War stage play that he does at the end. It's just a Wes Anderson movie. It's just the Wes Anderson movies he makes now. It's very stage play, and the backgrounds move instead of the camera, and
then he, you're right.
It's straight up like what he does now.
But then he shows it's possible to do like a diorama effect, and you could actually pull that off at your school. Like he does the Serpico, like he's doing Serpico too as another thing. I mean, and it's like they have the action scene, and they all run to the window to like shoot out. Like, but that's the only way you could do it. But I love the way he's staging these plays. He's doing it the only way it could be done, but in the best possible way. He's not like half-assing it just because you can't do everything you want on a stage. He's doing the most to get what I love that the spirit of that. I think it's
people
amazing.
are buying into it too. The other kids,
How could you not?
How
could you not? Everyone, the theater's packed. All the parents and everyone, they know he makes bangers, and he knows it's gonna be crazy.
I make hit plays.
I made a hit play.
The scene is. I love the relationship he has with the girl that's in love with him while he's in love with the teacher, right? And like he's walking down the hallway, and he's got a kid. He's got the kid behind him with the clipboard, and then he walks past her, and he goes, "Wait a minute, are you free at 3:30?" He doesn't even ask like to be in the thing. He's like, "Okay, can we get a makeup and costume for 4 for?" And like he doesn't even ask her. Yeah, and then it's just so funny.
And I love when they're rehearsing and like they're meant to go in for a kiss, and he's like, and she's just like.
And then she like holds him accountable later too, like the ball field or whatever. Because like he finally sees her for like what she is, like who he should be dating, right?
He sees her.
Yeah, he sees her.
Yeah.
And I love that she gives him shit. She says, "You treated me like shit." It reminded me, it's kind of crazy. It reminded me of the ending of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where they admit, like he has to admit to them that he treated them like shit.
Yeah.
Which has Jason Schwartzman in that in the villain role, but it's very similar. I don't know. I feel like I think O'Malley is seeing like Saw.
Yeah, I think in my experience, that's what happens in high school. There's always this deal where someone has a crush on you, but you have a crush on someone else because everyone always thinks they can do better. And so then you go for like 2 or 3 years with this weird triangle that never develops, and then nothing ever happens with anybody instead of just the two people. Right? It happens to me too. It happened to me. And then you see them 10 years after high school and they're like supermodel quality people. You're like, oh, you fucked up. You fucked up when she was 13. You should have seen.
I mean, I think the big issue, like we're not addressing the elephant in the room. The big issue with
trying to lose weight.
The big issue with this triangle is that one of them is a teacher. One of them's a child, and one of them's the teacher, who's an adult in her 30s, right?
She's fucking.
20s. But
she has got to be like 28 or 20. She's got to be like right out of Harvard or whatever she said she went to.
But you know what? I didn't remember a lot of this movie until I watched it today. So as Jason Schwartzman is starting to warm up to her, or not warm up to her, to get towards her and kind of nestle his way into her heart. Like in the back of my head, I'm like, are they gonna kiss? When was this written?
What?
Is this going to be problematic? They didn't. She kept pushing his ass away, and he was like,
him away.
"No, come on, you love me."
Yeah, he tries to grab her too, and there's that scene where that was emotional.
Funny. He tried to kiss her in the fucking in the classroom, and she just like spun him around.
Like strong arms him.
And then he actually kisses her, and she's like, no, you didn't get into a real accident, did you? And and he's like, you're out of here, like straight away.
But the first time they meet, when they're on the benches at the ball field, and the cigarette, and he's risen her, it actually works. So she does she's so interested. She puts up with his bullshit because he's so
interesting. He's charismatic.
Interesting.
I love that scene because you see the shot of her, and he's in the background, but he gets up and goes to the right. So he's like, kind of just, I'm just doing my own thing. And then he talks to her, and he walks over. So then they're both, and then he's like,
right,
I'll leave you alone. And he gets up and he walks back out.
Yeah, it's fire, bro. And she's like, what is happening right now? It's like, it's happening to me though. She's actually feeling something, right? And she doesn't even. And then he goes and sees her read to the kids. Yeah. Like she has the younger kids in her class. And that's when he falls in love because of her voice and her mannerisms and everything. Because she's brilliant. You can tell she's brilliant and beautiful.
Yeah. And there's a lot of fantastic.
She's smart enough to see what's developing, Like she calls him out. She's like, you don't.
We can't do this.
I know you like me, but this is.
Well, she's self-aware. She must be self-aware of how freaking hot she is, too. I mean. She must be. I mean, come on.
I love when she brings the other Wilson brother, Luke Wilson's, to the play, and he's just not having it. It's like, how dare you?
That's hilarious.
He's drinking. It's like we didn't even. She's like, I didn't even know we were gonna have dinner, and he's like, how dare you bring him to our dinner?
Yeah, we dress for dinner, and he goes, "These are OR scrubs," and he goes, "Oh, are they?" And then Bill Murray is trying to. He almost spits the fucking water out or whatever. That's a great scene. That's hilarious.
It's a nice nurse outfit, and he's like,
OR scrubs.
Yeah. And he doesn't even look at him the whole time. He's just talking about him the whole thing. He never looks at him. It's just so funny.
And then he apologizes to the fucking waiter. He's like, "I'm sorry, we were having a nice dinner, and then someone had to invite themselves."
That's quite all right, sir.
Classic, yeah. And there's so many great visual gags in this. There's that part, when Bill Murray passes on a message to her, and then to exit the scene, he just runs away.
Oh yeah.
That's straight out of an Edgar Wright film. I'm pretty sure they do that exact gag in Hot Fuzz.
Because he makes him feel like a kid again because Bill Murray has a crush, and then he goes to her house and they have that scene, and it's just the awkwardness of it that he's not afraid to sit in the discomfort and let the audience feel not everyone's going to be smooth.
Yeah, he hates himself so much. And the scene that nearly had me tearing up, I think, is when he gets his haircut and he meets Max's father. He's standing outside, his hair is just awful, and he's just he's dead inside. He's tearing up, just standing there, and so much has happened to him. He's lost his wife, and
he plays a character like that in the Scarlett Johansson movie about Japan.
Lost in Translation.
I can't very much Lost in Translation.
I know you don't like that movie, but if you look at it through
I
different eyes and you can see the character that Bill Murray's playing is kind of the same guy, but at a later point
know.
in his life almost, right?
I get where that film's coming from. I also just find that film extremely racist, but that's a whole other story.
I'm just talking about the character.
I know. I get what you're saying. I just, yeah.
And then the Razor's Edge. Have you seen Razor's Edge?
No.
That's his first dramatic film. It's a biography of Somerset Maugham, I think, or something to that degree. But he plays interesting type of character in that too.
And like, what's great about Bill Murray is like his more comedic roles, like Groundhog Day. Like Groundhog Day is fantastic, but he's a grounded character. Like he's a broken man as well, and he plays it so dramatically well. And that's what makes that film work. I think is that the character work in that movie and like what Bill Murray brings to that role. That could have just been like a Adam Sandler vehicle, but he brings a lot more. He brings a lot
because
more depth.
That character is a Vietnam veteran too, and a lot of the characters Bill Murray plays, like even in Caddyshack, are veterans who have like something missing, but are still very warm and interesting people. But there's also that like 1,000-yard stare that he gives sometimes, like the world is happening to him. He's like a placeholder for the average American in the 80s, like a male, right? Who's like in their 30s or 40s, like someone my age in like the late 80s. And their experiences. Bill Murray carries that for a lot of people, because he speaks for like a generation. Like my brothers, like really identify with his experience.
Yeah. And even when he was playing himself in Zombieland, like you could still see a lot of regret. Like I remember there's that line. It was like, "Do you have any regrets?" And he's like, "Garfield, maybe." Like, you can see it on his face. Like he's just got one of those faces that you can just connect with. You can like project. I feel like you can project a lot onto him because he's just got one of those faces.
Well, yeah. Everyone feels like you would be your best friend, right?
Is he known to be like a nice guy or like an asshole?
Oh, he's great. No,
I've heard it,
he's famous for Pebble Beach. He plays at the Pro-Am at Pebble Beach, and so he's always like he's like always fooling around with the crowd and like doing gags and stuff. So he's famous for being very, very warm and all around
Chevy
good guy.
Chase
Chevy Chase, the asshole.
Yeah, he's the asshole.
Chevy Chase.
Fun fact: Bill Murray helped Michael Jordan defeat the Monstars in Space Jam.
He did do that. He did do that. Yeah.
Did.
Good job, Bill Murray. Good job, Bill Murray. Thank you, Bill
Murray. He's also in most Anderson movies, right? He's pretty much in all of them too. So.
Yeah, he was in the Grand Budapest Hotel. I'm trying to remember.
Right. I mean, like the Moonlight Kingdom, I think he was in.
Moonrise.
I love Moonrise.
Moonrise Kingdom.
Moonrise Kingdom was the first Wes Anderson film I saw after I knew who Wes Anderson was. So Rushmore I saw when I was like young and didn't know who Wes Anderson was. It was just a movie I watched. And then I saw Moonrise Kingdom and I was like, oh my God, I love this style. I love what's going on here. Who's this director? And that's what got me onto Wes Anderson. That's why I watched the rest of his films.
Moonrise is probably one of my least favorite of his.
Really? Why is that?
It's just okay. I don't know.
Is it too weird?
It's too campy.
Too campy, right. Yeah. I think it's a beautiful, like little love story, and just like it's just a cute little. Okay, yeah, fair enough. It's and
Bill. Can I just put a cap on the Bill Murray talk? If you want to check out Bill Murray in his prime, watch Stripes and Meatballs and like stuff when he just left Saturday Night Live.
About Caddyshack.
Yeah. Caddyshack?
Yeah, Caddyshack.
Obviously.
I think most people have seen Caddyshack, though. I don't know how many people see Stripes nowadays.
That's fair. What was I going to say?
Ghostbusters.
There's films that are obviously very inspired by this movie. Like just like weird high school movies that are inspired by this movie. I feel like I don't know if you guys have seen Brick, which was Rian Johnson's first film. That's like just the very idiosyncratic main kid who's very. I mean, that movie's basically a film noir set on a high school, but the main kid is very similar to like Jason Schwartzman's character. He plays like
I did see that
a smart detective, and he plays above his age, sort of thing.
Right, I love those. Like Ferris Bueller type syndrome.
Yeah, and there's another movie called that has the guy from that I liked. I didn't love it because there's one plot point that's just. But a movie called the oh my god, why am I blanking right now? I'm
It happens
blanking
to the
right
best of
now.
us.
Who was like, Stalin, and who was the other guy? Who were the three guys? So Stalin, Lenin, and Trotsky.
Trotsky?
The Trotsky, yeah. So there's a movie called The Trotsky about a kid who believes he's the reincarnation
Really?
of Trotsky. Yeah,
Oh, I got to see that. That sounds hilarious.
and basically he tries to bring his school together against the he's head of the student council, and he believes
You
in
got to send me
collective
a
action.
link to that. I got to see that.
I didn't love it because there's a romance plot with a teacher that's very similar to Rushmore, but like they don't play it. They don't like it in Rushmore. They straddle the line, which I think is good. In that movie, they go over the line, and I just didn't like that aspect of the movie. But the rest of the movie is a banger. It's hilarious. He organizes all the kids, and it's very it's very very much inspired by Rushmore. Like I can see the influence immediately. And clearly, like it's stuff, and obviously, like Wes Anderson's style, the way things enter and exit the frame in a funny way, like the way Bill Murray runs away is very like. I feel like that was very inspiring for directors like Edgar Wright. So yeah, I just think this film just has created a lot of like influence. It's basically a cult classic at this point. But yeah, I really respect just how much
He goes for it.
forward momentum.
I love that he makes everything from the ground up. If he has a brand in the movie, then he's going to make like a box of cookies. He's going to create a whole backstory for the company that made them, and he'll do that in all of his films. Like every little detail, so much handmade stuff.
Yeah,
Like I mean, Moonrise Kingdom didn't have as great a script for me as a lot of his other ones, but I still love the bespoke style, like everything's handmade, and like the diorama effect, and just like
and some of it, like
just the effort, the work rate is very high. Like there's a lot of time. Like imagine making Fantastic Mr. Fox like that, stop motion. You have to like
so
move
much
it
effort.
one at a time.
Yeah,
That wasn't CGI. It was real fucking stop motion. Must have taken a year. I don't know how long it would take to make that. It must have been fucking.
Would have been years of labor, years of work. But they probably did it in like a month span. But it just took a lot of
Yeah,
manpower.
if you have enough money, you can get all those people there to do it in a reasonable way. But still, it's just like, because if you don't move the characters right, it looks so bad with stop motion. Every little movement has to be smooth. Like if you're doing this, it takes all afternoon to move the arm.
Yeah, and I love how he does some of the product placement. Like there's the scene where Bill Murray's in the lift, and he's holding a can, and the can is below the frame, and he pulls out like a what's it called, a flask, and pours like some whiskey in it, and then he lifts it up, and it's a Diet Coke. It's like it's like classic reveal gag. It's fantastic. I love it. He just thought about every single detail, and not a lot of directors go to that.
It makes sense that Luke Wilson helps him write a lot of the stuff. Now that I think about it,
You
because
mean
of his
Owen
sense
Wilson.
of humor.
Owen
Wilson, rather.
Yeah.
It's not Luke, right? It's Owen, right?
It's Owen.
Yeah, the Wilson brothers. You can like see their sense of humor is like kind of congruent, and that's why they use them a lot. And then if the older brother is in this movie as like the janitor or something, or he has like a real coach, right? Yeah. He's the ball coach when they go to like do the aquarium scene. Yes. Like he's gonna tear down, and he's all ready to. He's got a guy with a fucking thing. Yeah, it's like stop.
They're marking off the trees.
But it's amazing that he can get everything to that point. Like he's so accomplished as getting shit done. Because it's just through his own force of will and his confidence. Like people will say, "Okay, I guess so." He seems real confident, and it's amazing.
I also love that you could tell the film didn't have a huge budget at all.
No.
Because they keep talking about this $8 million aquarium, and we never see it. Like, it's just implied that it's there. Like, they had the opening day, and it's just implied that they built it. But we don't actually see the aquarium at all. It's great.
And it's funny because he's doing all this just because he thinks the girl he's in love with likes fish, right? So he's going to build a whole aquarium, right?
She's like, I never said that.
Yeah, I love it. I just love all of the character dynamics in this. It's classic Wes Anderson, but like it's before he, really tuned his style.
What was it like? The Tannenbaums took off for him, and then he really went ham on the Life Aquatic with the design, and then he started picking up Oscars every time he made a movie too for art design, pretty much essentially, or at least get nominated. Because I don't know anyone who's doing it like that as big as he does it, as far as like the attention to detail. There's a lot of people who care a lot about creating world building, but the depth that he goes and everything is phenomenal.
He has a style and a way of shooting, and it's the same in every movie, but it's so damn beautiful to see every time he does it.
Yeah, and he does it differently every time. Like the French Dispatch looks completely different to Asteroid City, which looks completely different to Royal Tenenbaums.
It's wholesome. It's a wholesome. It makes you feel like you. It reminds me of like when I was in like 7th grade and I had to go home and do like a diorama or something, like an art project that's also got a narrative to it. So he's like multidisciplinarian. He's not just a writer. He's not just a filmmaker. He's also someone who I feel like is getting down to the detail with like crafting the puppets and whatever he's doing in the film. It's like
he's picking you up
goals
where you are and throwing you in the middle of this world, and you get lost in it immediately.
Absolutely, yeah. And what was it? I had a train of thought and then I lost it. God damn it. I did see a really funny, like ages ago, there's a really funny tidbit about Wes Anderson. And if you look at a picture of Wes Anderson, like him, and then you put any two of like the people that are in his movies, he just looks like a mashup of all of his actors that he chooses.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can watch this, but have you seen the Saturday Night Live skit of a Wes Anderson film?
The horror
Wes
one?
Anderson one? Yeah. Can we show that?
Funny. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the rules here.
Yeah, you can. I got to find it. That's what I need to do.
It should be Wes Anderson horror.
Hold on.
Wes Anderson Saturday Night Live.
It was with Edward Norton, wasn't it?
There it is. Wes Anderson horror trailer. All right, let me share. Boop, boop. Do we have to do the entire screen? What is it that we had to do? No, this should work, right? Share. All right. Can you hear this? Can you see this?
Well, I can't hear anything yet.
All right, hold up, baby boys.
Yeah.
Oh, Wes Anderson.
Yeah, man, this is perfect. Wow.
Was this SNL?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so good.
No, you may not. It's perfect, man. Nails it.
And what's funny is Ed Norton's like in all of his movies.
Yeah,
now.
right.
Yeah. That's classic.
Hey, wow.
Classic.
The fuck?
It's so good.
I mean, that's fire, bro.
I'd watch it.
What's funny about that is it's like clearly that's not scary, but I feel like if Wes Anderson actually tried to make a horror film, it would be scary. Like he'd make it scary, like in a way. You know what I mean? Like he'd find a way to make his style, but also make it scary and not, not whimsy like that. And what's really funny is there's some movies that try to do like their plot is obviously Wes Anderson inspired. It's trying to be whimsy, but like the style just doesn't make it work. There's a movie I watched called have you guys seen The Book of Henry? Which is basically it's got
who's it?
Naomi Watts is in it, and
What's it about?
So it's basically about a kid who basically works out that his neighbor is being abused by the dad, and he sets out to kill the dad essentially.
Uh-huh.
And then something happens midway through the film, and then the rest of the film is basically the mum, played by Naomi Watts. Like,
shout out Naomi Watts.
Yeah, basically following his instructions. But the problem with the film is it plays it completely serious and plays it completely like. So it's just like really unsettling and weird to watch. Like it's also almost like psychopathic to watch.
Interesting.
But you realize watching it that if it was in the style of Wes Anderson, it would have completely worked. Like, and the problem is the tone was just completely wrong. But what they were going for was like a Wes Anderson sort of whimsy tale, but they just got the tone completely wrong. And like basically what I'm trying to say is no one does it like Wes Anderson, essentially. Like he just has a style that makes just the weirdest stuff, the weirdest and uncomfortable stuff work. Essentially,
I think he must have a production team now that he can dial this stuff in. They know what he wants a little bit, and like he must have like 100 people that he counts on to make these films now. But you're right, nobody can do it like this. And this is something AI can't do either, right? Because it comes from one source.
Yeah,
and it's one source creative.
Yeah, Prag.
What? Tell me, what do you think I do with AI?
I think you use AI very creatively, Prag. I was making
only use it to do things I can't do myself, which is the art drawing and stuff. Like if there's any words in anything I do, I'm writing the words.
Yeah. Just remember, you are taking from other people. It's just remember that. But what I wanted to say.
Time out. Who am I going to hire to make a podcast film poster? Right? That would take hours and hours to do as an artist. Who am I taking from? Because it would cost $300 to do that, right? At least. And it would take 3 weeks. And so there would be nothing.
But the input is from artists. Like that's where the input comes from. You know what I mean? Like you basically
the input comes from me. Just like when an artist operates a brush stroke, he's using a brush. He's not painting with his finger. I'm using AI like a brush. I'm telling it exactly what I want in every detail.
Okay. Well, we won't get into a discussion with AI, but what I wanted to say is like
I'm ready for the discussion.
When I'm talking
did you just have this discussion with Dark recently?
Yes, I did.
We had a long debate with Dark because I said eventually you're going to have the ability to make any video game you want.
Yeah.
And he said, well, that's the AI making. And I said, not if you go level by level and I want this tree to be 8 feet tall, green. It's very specific and create level design, something I can't code. So instead of using computer code, I'm using just the English language that turns it into code. I think that's different than saying, oh, I made this game. And then you just tell it, I want it to be an RPG about ninjas. And then it makes the whole fucking thing. That to me is out of bounds. But if I'm going scene by scene, level by level, and I can't do the coding, but I can explain to it how I want it to be coded.
I don't. Anyway, but what I wanted to say was,
it's going to eat you, JC.
It's the future, JC.
No, I hate it. What I wanted to say,
but it's not going to go away. That's the other thing too. We have to deal, just like the horse-drawn buggies. Like those guys probably didn't love cars. They didn't love automobiles, but the automobiles were not going away.
I think it's going to eat itself though. I feel like that's the difference. It's self-defeating. But
all right, people have to take care with how they use it, just like any other technology.
But what I wanted to say was like my train of thought that I was on with that is that, you know, his films obviously have very dark themes. Like the Royal Tenenbaums, like Gwyneth Paltrow's character is suicidal. Like she's super depressed, and there's moments when but the way the tone is handled, it's handled so intelligently and so
stylishly
and compassionately as well, that a kid can watch it and, you know, get a lot out of it still, even though the themes are so dark. You know what I mean? I think Wes Anderson's just a master at straddling the line. He's so good at it. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
I mean, there's that dark undercurrent in like any society that he picks up on and like weaves through it. And like it's not like it's like a seriousness amongst the cuteness or something. It's not even like darkness. It's just like there's this you know, all of his kids are so precocious in most of the films that he makes. They all act like adults. There's not a lot of silliness just for silliness. It's like everyone is kind of a serious character that's trying to do something, but they're also funny in the way they do it, but they're not goofy.
Yeah.
Like
And
even
like
in Fantastic Mr. Fox, you know.
yeah, like Isle of Dogs, like all of those characters are like grounded characters. The main dog, he's suffering PTSD from animal abuse,
Mhm.
and like that's what drives his whole like character arc is getting over that and being able to socialize again. And it's just like his writing is just to me is impeccable. Like I can never fault his writing ever. Like
Okay.
I feel like all of his just characters are just so well drawn and like so like I want to say like compassionately written. Like he just has so much.
Three-dimensional characters, like
Yeah,
real character. Like you could tell when he's writing for a character, he's like writing the backstory for the character. He probably sits down and writes a long like history of the person,
right.
and then he starts writing lines for them because you don't know what someone's going to say in a show, and if you don't know what their story is, like where
And
they
he
came
goes
from.
through, he goes through their wants, their needs, what their damage is. Like, yeah, yeah. So time
Yes.
all up. What did you think of Rushmore? Like, where
I really liked it. I thought it had a little bit of a slowdown on like the back half, just a little bit, but it wasn't too bad.
mm,
But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I would recommend it. And if I
yeah,
have to rate it, I would rate it a 78.
good score, good score. Pragpro, would you recommend Rushmore?
Yeah,
What would you
I
rate it?
love it. Yeah, I think it was great. I think it's like a 85.
Mm,
It's a great example of an early film, and you can see the potential and you can see where he goes later. In the context of his other films, it's fun to watch it because when I saw it the first time, it was just that and Bottle Rocket. And
mm,
Bottle Rocket used to be like on Comedy Central, repeated all the time. They would just like
That's
play it.
right.
So I
It
must have seen
did.
it on that.
Yeah.
Like it would be on like 11 o'clock or
Mhm.
1 o'clock, like after the Daily Show or whatever. And
mm.
so I probably saw it there. But now you can see it in the context and you can see where he was going. But this movie is just a banger also because I just think there's so many funny scenes and Bill Murray is so good in it. And there's like three or four actors that really are involved in most of the scenes. And I think they're just really funny interactions. So yeah, I
Mm.
love it.
Yeah, I agree, and I'd 100% recommend Rushmore as well. And I'd also say this: I'd if it didn't click for you like at first, watch
Yeah.
Wes Anderson's other films, like watch Grand Budapest, watch Isle of Dogs. What you'll love them because they're just like immediately
For
just like
noobs,
yeah, basically
Fantastic Mr. Fox is great for
yeah,
noobs, and Life Aquatic, and I
yeah.
think Budapest Hotel.
And I think once you really get on the rhythm of what like Wes Anderson's trying to do with those films and come back to Rushmore, it'll
Yeah.
just like it'll be
It'll click. Yeah.
fireworks. Yeah, it'll click immediately. And I'm glad that it did for me because this is considered like one of the best high school comedies of all time. So yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. I'd probably give it like an 80. Did you give it a score, Prag?
85.
85, yeah. I give it an 80. I think
I
it's
have a different
fantastic.
scale. See, you guys, I always have to add 15 to your scale because it's different. No, I think it's a strong B plus.
I'd give it an A. Like an 80 is an A for me. Like that's
It's right there, though. I mean,
Yeah.
with a bigger budget, maybe. I don't know. I could easily give it an A too because I just think the script is so strong.
wouldn't
I
it
think
be
it would be
interesting?
funny to stage Rushmore as a play,
Mhm.
the whole thing as a play, and then have plays
Within
within
the
the
plays.
play.
Yeah. Well,
That's what I would love to do.
I was thinking earlier while we were talking, like, could you imagine if Wes Anderson went back and like tried to remake it with like what he's learnt since then,
Mhm.
and just got Jason Schwartzman back, just put him in the role,
Just
like
play the role.
again.
Yeah.
Sequel,
Yeah.
I think that would be crazy because it would be ironic because it would be the last thing you would expect him to do,
Yeah.
but it would
Yeah.
be seem like a cash grab. But if you could play with it like that, but I doubt that he's somebody who wants to look backwards. Like he's
No, he
always
doesn't.
somebody who's like everything is different. And that's the
Yeah.
fun thing. Like I like that he keeps me guessing. I never know what the next world he's going to transport me to is.
Yeah. So his next film is called The Phoenician Scheme, and it's an espionage thriller. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's had a good
When does
cast
that
too.
Don't know when
this
that
year
comes out.
maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah,
All right.
so it began production on March 12th, 2024, wrapped in June 3rd. So it's probably going to come out this year or next year.
Probably maybe this summer.
But yeah, it's starring Benicio del Toro and Michael Cera. It's got a long cast list, but those are the two leads:
Scarlett
Benicio del
Johansson's
Toro
in
and
it.
Michael Cera. Scarlett
That's
Johansson's in it.
interesting.
Charlotte Gainsbourg. He's got Charlotte Gainsbourg in there. I like her a lot. Bryan Cranston, of course. He's just a legend. Cumberbatch.
He knows how to cast, man. I think
Riz
he
Ahmed,
knows.
yeah.
It always makes sense when you see that. I mean, like Bryan Cranston goes with Bill Murray in some ways.
Mhm.
He's that same type of archetype of a serious comedian that can also be a dramatic actor. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so is Bob Odenkirk. I don't know if he's ever worked with him, but Bob Odenkirk could fit in that. I feel like Cranston, Murray, and Odenkirk are kind of like.
Did you just say I don't know if he's ever worked? I don't know if Bryan Cranston's ever worked with Bob Odenkirk.
No, Odenkirk.
with Wes
I don't know
Anderson.
whether Odenkirk has
Wes
ever worked with Wes
Yeah.
Anderson, but that would be
Sorry.
kind of fly.
Yeah.
So if
To my knowledge, Bob Odenkirk has never worked with Bryan Cranston
Bryan
ever
Cranston.
in anything.
Okay. No, I haven't.
that
heard
would be
of-
sick too.
Yeah, they should do it one day. They should do it.
There was a movie that Bob Odenkirk's in called Nebraska. That's really good. It's Alexander Payne film. Yeah.
Really? I'll have to check it out. I love Bob Odenkirk.
Didn't it win an Oscar or something?
It was nominated for Best Picture, and it's deservedly so. That movie's very funny.
What is Bruce Dern? Is that
Nebraska?
Bruce Dern. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nebraska. It's Bruce
Why
Dern.
don't I know about this? What year was this?
13, I want to say.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know how it's escaped my.
I got it right. It's 2013.
Ooh.
I can't believe I got it right. Oh my god.
What is that? What is that Odenkirk movie where he turns? It's like a tough guy movie where he like gets revenge on a bunch of people who beat him up on
Nobody?
a bus.
Nobody?
Nobody,
Yeah.
Mr. Nobody or something. That's
It's
great.
just Nobody.
That's a good one
yeah,
too.
Nobody.
Nobody. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
second-
I like that one too.
Come on's coming out this year.
Shit, okay.
I'm trying to remember that director's made some good stuff. Nobody. Hold on. That who was that? Yeah, Ilya Neshula. He's made some stuff I liked. Hardcore Henry. He made Hardcore Henry. That's right.
Oh, yeah,
Did he
yeah,
really?
yeah.
That's funny.
Say it again.
Interesting.
So
Same
did he really?
director.
Yeah,
Yeah, same director.
that's funny.
And obviously made the music video that started Hardcore Henry, the Bad Motherfucker music video. You know the one I'm talking about? Yeah. Where it's all,
Mhm.
first person. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. But yeah, what are we doing next week, Time? Have you picked a movie?
So I had a whole plan. I have 18 movies on my phone right here.
Whoa.
Hey,
They're crazy. Yeah. I've never seen any of them. I was pretty excited. I've only seen one. But then you mentioned Scott Pilgrim, so now I want to watch Scott Pilgrim.
No, oh yeah, really? I mean, I love Scott Pilgrim. I'd be happy to watch it again.
You know what? No.
Absolutely.
We're watching a different movie. It's called Nocturnal Animals.
Okay.
Yes,
Have you seen
that's
that?
the Tom Ford film. Yes, I have seen it.
God damn it. I want to pick a movie you guys haven't seen. Son of a bitch.
I don't know if
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
Brad
it.
hasn't
No,
seen
I'm
it.
down.
Jake Gyllenhaal's in it.
It's got Jake
I love Jake Gyllenhaal. What year is it from? Do you know?
I don't know.
I want to say 2018. Let me see if I'm,
I'm just
right.
writing just so
Oh,
I
no,
don't.
no.
I
It's
it's
2016.
ambiguation.
It's 2016.
Just so I can. I'm just writing it down. I just
me
write
check.
the year usually because sometimes movies have the same title, and I'll end up watching the one from 1998. And I'm
There
like, Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't in that.
So what surprises me about this film is
Mhm.
this is directed by Tom Ford,
Right.
the Tom
Fashion
Ford,
designer,
the
yeah.
fashion designer Tom
Yeah,
Ford,
which is crazy.
and it's actually good.
Well, he has 2 films and they both are Oscar nominated that he did.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Which is awesome. And like he's not just he's not just like some rich guy that made clothes. He's like actually talented.
There was a TV show, I think, that Prag recommended to Flame. Flame, if you can type it in chat. He said, "Oh, have Flame watch this movie or whatever, or TV show," and she watched it. And then I was reading her the plot summary to Nocturnal Animals, and she's like, "It's the same as this TV show she watched." And I looked online, and I guess a lot of people say it's like the similar
Yeah.
plot. Yeah.
Do you know what the show it is?
I forgot what it is.
Okay.
I don't even remember what the show is. I'm like,
Yeah.
which show is this?
Yeah, I forgot what the show was. Oh,
Disclaimer.
Fargo?
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
I recommended that. I've never seen
Oh,
that.
maybe you didn't. Maybe. Oh, I thought she did.
Maybe somebody else recommended
was.
it, but I don't think I've seen that one, man.
Yeah.
Nocturnal Animals is a fascinating movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking
wait.
forward to it. So you haven't seen it, Tom?
I have not seen it now.
So what drew you to? I guess I'll ask you next week. I'll ask
Wait,
you next
you
week.
asked me real quick. Okay, this is it's a quick story then. There was a YouTube video I watched, and it was like the scariest movie I've ever seen. That's what it was, and it had a weird thumbnail. So I clicked on it, and the guy was like, "Hey, watch this movie, but go into it without knowing anything. It scared the shit out of me. It's so scary." I'm like, oh man. And then I just put it away and I forgot about that movie for the longest time. And then I was thinking about it a couple days ago, and I'm like, I don't know what that movie is. Like, I didn't write it down. I didn't save it in my YouTube watch history or my watch playlist. I was like, what the fuck? So I had to look through my watch history, keep scrolling up until I found it. And that was Lake Mungo.
You watched that last night.
So then I watched it last night. But then I was like, he was like saying whatever. And then I go, wait, there's a whole list of movies that I want to see that are like either horror inspired or that you should go in blind or that have twist endings or that horror movies without jump scares, like shit like that. So I just started looking up all these different movies. And there's a whole bunch of movies that I haven't seen that I want to see, like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I've never seen that movie.
I saw that in cinemas, like while I was in Melbourne.
Did you?
Just recently, I saw it in cinemas. It's incredible.
Okay, yeah. There's a whole bunch of movies. There's like there's a movie, I forgot what it's called, but it's like it's The Ring, but it's before The Ring. It's like the one before they came out before The Ring.
The Grudge.
Ringo Zero.
No.
Is it Ringo Zero, right?
It's
Pulse.
I guess Pulse. It's Pulse.
Pulse,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
I need to watch
trippy,
Pulse.
Yeah.
And Nocturnal Animals was obviously on that list.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of from whatever. Yeah.
Lake Mungo I've wanted to watch for so long, and I think it was it's been on my list to actually review on this podcast. I just other stuff I've just prioritized, but yeah, I'm glad you've watched Lake Mungo now. I've heard there's
and I go, oh wait a minute, it's Australian.
Yeah, I've heard it has one of the best jump scares of all time. I'm looking forward to it.
JC, you have to talk about your show that we're going to work on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, so tomorrow...
Do you want to tease that?
Yeah, so basically me and Prag are going to do this thing. So in Australia, we have a music competition every year. So there's a radio station in Australia called Triple J. It's basically it's a radio station that plays independent music. They actively seek out new music, like in Australia specifically, and also just independent music in the United States, and not just independent music, but just they're curators essentially. So they curate like just music that they consider to be quality. So they'll play Kendrick Lamar, but they won't play like fucking, I don't know, T-Pain. Or you know what I mean? Like, or
T-Pain catching stray.
Lowrider. You know what I mean? Like,
that's
crazy. Yeah, it's an indie rock station. It's like K-Rock.
Yeah,
right? K-Rock.
Yeah.
In LA.
So every year they have, at the start of every year, around Australia Day, which is the 25th or 26th. I can't remember which one it is now. Yes, I'm so patriotic. And that they have a competition called Triple J's 100. And basically everyone in Australia like votes on their favorite music that was on Triple J that year. And they get like millions and millions, like they get more votes every year, but like I think last year was like 7 million votes. And then they just play from 100 down to 0, like the 100 favorite songs of the year. How
long does it take?
It takes all day. Basically, they start at like 10 a.m. and then it finishes like 6 p.m.
Okay, so they play it like continuously.
Yeah, continuously.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like 5-minute songs, right? Each song's like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
5 minutes.
Like they play it one at a time over the course of the day, and it's a huge thing. I'm pretty sure Kendrick Lamar got the #1 spot for Humble when it came out. The Wiggles, you guys know the Wiggles? They won one year for their cover of Elephant by Tame Impala.
Oh, that's a good song. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Wait,
and their cover's good.
So Triple J is the one that does Like a Version, right?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I love that. I love that series.
And Like a Version songs always make it. That Wiggles Like
that
a
was
Version.
Like a Version song, yeah.
Yeah, that Wiggles Like a Version was the first time a Like a Version had won the #1 spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically I've got this I've got to make a short list. I've already picked 5 songs for it, and the other 5 songs I'm undecided. And I've basically gone through all the music that is so. Like, I've gone through the list of music on the Triple J website that they recommend. I've gone through and I've picked all the artists that I like. I picked all the artists that I'm interested in. I picked all the tracks that I'm interested in. And I've also gone through, like, because there's sports bets on the Hottest 100.
Shit.
So, like the voting on which songs are going to be number one.
Yeah.
I've taken all of those songs and I put them in there. Basically, everything that I haven't listened to, and I'm going to go through it with Prag essentially tomorrow.
Nice.
And it's going to take a few.
We have to build an OBS scene without AI, right? So I hope you have some artists that are on deck and ready to contribute to your scene, because otherwise it's just going to be us.
I'm happy to do whatever. Like I just want to listen.
It's not a big deal. We go to Etsy and get them for like $1 from a real artist.
And I just want to listen to the music and just go through it one by one with Prag. Like I'll show you what I've got. I'm very excited about this actually. Hold on, let me log into my challenge, which is a tournament bracket creator.
Ooh, we have to figure out a way to make that go up on the screen. Maybe as a web. We'll use probably a web capture.
So let me just here's a little sneak peek to what I've got cooking. So here's the bracket, and this bracket goes on forever.
Okay,
so
yeah, we can use this.
Here's all the songs. Here's all the songs. It keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going.
Oh, some songs have first round buys. Okay.
So and that's just random. That's just random.
How are we going to get through all these songs?
That's what I'm saying. We're going to have to do it more than one. We're not going to do it all in one show, dude.
Of course. Maybe we could do 20 songs per FE or something like that.
And it's double elimination as well. So here's the losers bracket as well.
When Prag explained it to me, I thought you were just essentially reviewing what the radio station's doing, but you're doing your own thing. Okay.
Yeah, we're having a tournament analysis.
Because I want to figure out what my other 5 are. I've picked 5 songs, and the other 5, and I have and my only other rule with my selection is it has to be one of each artist. I never do more than one artist when I vote. I never do 2 songs from one artist when I vote. So this is.
Send me a link to this. We can use this as an asset, we can make.
I did.
You did? All right. Tomorrow we'll set up the OBS, and maybe we'll just have our heads floating on top of this board, and we just focus on the music. And then when we play music, I can make a Visi for the band, so we can feature the band that we're talking.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah, I'm all about that.
We'll meet tomorrow at 4:30, right? Is that what it is? Pacific, something like that? All right, cool. Yeah. And then Time's not allowed to be there, right?
Do you want to be there, Time?
No, it's fine. You guys did your own thing. It's fine.
And I might do.
Maybe we'll have a guest on the second episode or something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
And because there's so many songs, I might do some in between, with my dad or something. It's just
yeah. This is JC's little thing, and if I can help him, that's an honor for me because he needs to be doing things. He needs to make content, and I'm just happy he's making something.
And this will be on JC's channel, right?
Yes, it'll be my channel.
We wouldn't. Yeah, this is all JC's creepy vision. This is his Wes Anderson.
So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to go through it. It won't be able to go on YouTube because of copyright, but I'm happy to do it on Twitch with Prag and just listen to all the songs one by one, and then we decide which one wins each time.
Is your channel affiliated?
Nope.
Okay, well there you go. This is it. We'll do it big style. All right, I got to get out of here because I got to get ready for my next show, and that's coming up. So
looking forward to Nocturnal Animal.
Jason Melton, your dad might like this. Are you streaming tonight? You said, or you're talking about me?
You, yeah. 6 p.m.
Yeah. Unless I get called
Jason Melton.
Unless I get called in to cover, I can do the regular time next weekend. So.
Just if you can give me a couple days head notice, just let me know.
Just make sure there's 24 hours or 48 hours, so everyone can because then we can change the other schedules because that's usually the thing.
Have you guys?
All right, do we have to raid? Do we have anybody to raid with?
Not really.
Just before we go, have you guys noticed that I put my next 3 picks in the? Oh,
you haven't picked out already?
Schedule?
I did not see them. No.
Yep, I haven't picked out already.
I'll just check them out.
Have you been updating the schedule? That's great. I love that big long schedule. The long one, the long form.
The long form. And you're going to love it.
And it wasn't opening up for me. You told me to click on it. Wasn't doing the thing. So I'm glad you have that one.
And you're going to love it, Prag. One of my picks, my second pick. So my next pick is Revenge by Carly Fajette. But the pick after that is we're giving Werner Herzog another chance. I'm giving him another shot. I'm letting him cook again. So
good.
That's 1979's Nosferatu. We're going to be watching that.
Okay.
So yeah,
Sick. All right,
looking forward
boys.
to it.
All right. Everybody have a great night. See you guys later.
Have a good
Bye.
one. Bye.
See you when your dad might like this.